Hi, this is Tiffany again. And just remember that you're perfect just the way you are. You're lovable just the way you are, and your best is good enough. So, my thought today was the title is Tell Me Where It Hurts, Honey. What I wanted to point out is that to love and respect yourself, what I've noticed in people is that a lot of times, and we don't know we do this, a lot of times the real source of a struggle begins with our inability to give ourselves permission to feel the way we feel. Doesn't mean you have to love it, doesn't mean you have to celebrate it, you're not enabling it by acknowledging it, but you're validating your feelings. And as adults, we tend to, and we do it for each other and then for ourselves, we tend to want to fix it, fix right away, find a solution right away. If it's somebody, a girlfriend saying, he broke my heart, and then she goes on to say, I should have seen it coming or something like that. First off, let's just talk about he broke your heart. You're afraid you're not lovable, you're afraid you're going to be alone, it hurt your feelings, and that's it. Just acknowledge that feeling, that's all. For a moment, no buts, no ands, no, you know what you gotta do. It's like you feel it. And it hurts like the dickens. It's not a comfortable feeling, especially since we're programmed to fix it, to find a solution. And you can do that too. That's next, by all means. But first, because by passing up the feeling to the fix it part, it tamps down that feeling. It says you're not justified. It's unimportant, irrelevant. Shame on you for having those tender feelings. So even things like I didn't get that promotion. I'll never get that promotion I want. What does that mean to you? What does the promotion mean to you? More money? Just keep rooting around in it. Okay, more money, more respect. Maybe that means something to you. Maybe you need that acknowledgement from your peers. Maybe it means something in a bigger way, like then I have exceeded my parents, and their standards, and maybe overcame a limiting belief of mine that I couldn't do anything better than just lower management or whatever it is that you're at. So I suggest you kind of, really, and you only have to do it with yourself. And honestly, I recommend you just doing it with yourself because chances are you're going to share it with somebody who's also got the habit of fixing something and breaking it down and trying to give you wisdom to help you overcome or feel better. And how can you fix something when you haven't even acknowledged what it is? And I think that's kind of the core of it. It's like you don't even know what you're fixing. And so, just giving yourself permission. Like I said, what another layer, another stage is to decide what you're going to do about it. And that gets filtered, for what's appropriate, what, consequences are related to that. How are you going to fix it, or what solutions are available, and how are you going to... So by all means, those are all next steps. But what I find a lot of times is that people are missing is, what was the feeling? What is it? A fear. And I know it's hard to go there because it's so uncomfortable, like I said, but just, honor that for a moment. Like I said, you don't have to celebrate it, get excited, and learn to love it. But it is what it is, whether you like it or not. It is what it is. So anyway, yeah, and so like I said, I think it's kind of I got my notes because I'm like, I want to make sure I stay on track and hit all the important stuff. So, when another thing too is a lot of times when these things really destroy us, or even the little things like out in traffic, where we take it really personal. If you take it really personal, if somebody cuts you off, what does that mean to you? Why so much emotion behind that? And don't get me wrong, and I encourage you not to judge yourself. And that's another step, I think, is don't judge yourself. You know, don't fix it. Don't try to come up with a solution, and don't judge yourself for it. You feel the way you feel, and that's it. There is no judgment. There is no authority on that. You feel the way you feel. And the only problem is that not everybody outside of you is going to be as competent at giving you that permission. So try not to look outside of yourself for validation on that, okay? Because you may not get it, and they're just going to reinforce whatever it is you're already doing, honestly. But you know your environment, so you could have some really special people out there that are supporting you and are going to be able to help out. So anyway, but then the next part after that is sometimes it can tell you what your real heart's desire is too. You know, it talk about fear or hurt, but then does that mean there's something you really, really want? Is it really something that you need more love? You need to know you are loved and you are lovable, and you end up with these people, and you know, maybe sex is kind of a substitute for love, or you thought you could hang your hat on that person, whatever. And it doesn't really matter well, it matters, don't get me wrong, but the start of it is, what is your fear? What makes you sad? What is it that this event affirmed within you? And it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt anyway, that there's not always some deeper meaning to it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times the ones that really hurt, I think you're touching on some deeper wound, per se. Not necessarily that you're a victim, but something that you're really truly afraid or scared or hurt, and you have the right to feel that way. So just give yourself permission. Like I said, not everybody in your environment is going to be able to do that for you, and they shouldn't have to, only because ideally you are you. You know why and how you feel, and you need to count on you to give you that permission and to take care of it. You need to be your own hero. So just like if you have an event, let's put it this way, if you have an event that's really, you know, feeling tragic, and maybe you're not feeling sad, you're feeling fired up and angry, how dare they, you know, I'm not sad, I'm pissed off. It's like, well, pissed off doesn't happen on its own. It's not a two-dimensional emotion. I mean, it is kind of, but it's got a root in something else, and it's usually fear. It's usually fear of loss of control, loss of giving up control, whatever it is. But at least be honest with yourself, because you owe it to yourself. And what'll ultimately happen is it'll relieve that. It's like releasing a pressure valve, and suddenly you're not so on the defense, because you're not tamping down your own feelings. You're not tamping down, telling yourself you have no right to feel the way you feel. And so even if you're angry, be like, okay, I'm angry. So why am I angry? What's going on there? What's fueling my fire? And it's like, well, and I suggest that when you're digging around a little bit, is that try and reverse the conversation in your head, the dialogue in your head, from they're doing this, they're doing that, my environment is suppressing me, but to what are you doing to you or not doing to you for you? So what are you not doing? You're not allowing yourself to, honestly, I'm a little tapped out on that, possibilities, but just try to reverse the conversation. Just try to rephrase it to where, okay, so they're being jerks, they're not helping you succeed, whatever it is, because they've got their own thing going on, and you don't have to enable that. You don't have to love it. You don't have to be okay with it, by all means. I'm not telling you to ignore all that, but What are you not doing for you? And just internal, not like, I need to take more bubble baths or I need to eat more chocolate. More like, what aren't you validating for yourself? Why aren't, and not why, because that sounds judgmental, but what is happening? And so it's kind of like your mom when you've got a boo-boo and you're like, Mom, it hurts. And she's like, okay, honey, tell me where it hurts. And I encourage you to tell you where it hurts. Okay. Well, I love you, and I'll talk to you again soon.